Hello everyone, my name is Dalton and welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be bringing you an end of the year book haul. Before I begin, these are the books that I've gotten in like the last quarter of the year. So some of these I've bought at like the end of August, beginning of September. Some of them I've recently got. It's my birthday, so I've gotten some books for my birthday that I'm going to throw on this list. Most of these I've gotten at Goodwill because they have, at least my Goodwill where I live, they have such a good book section. Sometimes it's pretty bad, but whatever. For the most part, I can always find a book if I go into the Goodwill, and for whatever reason, because I have issues with restraint, I go like once a week. It's unfortunate to my bank account, but it's whatever. So a lot of these books I got from Goodwill, you'll see the stickers and stuff on them. In the next town over, there's a Books A Million, and they have a really, really good clearance section. There's also like a used bookstore that I bought a book that's on this list from. Some of them I've bought full price, but like I said, not many. For the most part, I normally get all my books for pretty cheap. There's also a couple like free libraries around where I live, so I'll occasionally go there, drop some books off, pick some up that I see that I want. But yeah, I have two massive piles of books to talk about today. You could probably see one right here, and then there's another one on the other side of me. Because there are so many, I'm not going to go into great detail with a lot of them. Plus, I don't know a whole lot about some of them. They're just books that I've seen on BookTube and that people enjoy. So I decided to pick them up because they were super cheap and I want to give them a try. But without further ado, let's get into the book haul. The first book that I want to talk about is A Little Hatred by Joe Abercrombie. I mainly bought this because it was on clearance at my Books A Million that I go to. And I have no clue what this is about. I know Joe Abercrombie's the guy who wrote The Blade Itself, that super popular series. And I want to get to reading that. I think this is like a companion series. I'm not sure if you have to read that one first or not, but whenever I get to it, I'm super excited to do so because I'm really interested in his novels because I've heard nothing but great things about The Blade Itself. And I just want to give him a try. The next books that I have to talk about are there are two books in the Game of Thrones, whatever this series is called. I couldn't even tell you. They were at Goodwill. I literally bought them today. They were both $3.99. They're hardcovers. They're not too beat up. I have the first book, and I think this is the second and third. I don't know which order is which, but they were cheap. They're hardcovers. I think they're originally like $35 or $40 a piece. So I bought them for $4. I couldn't say no to a good deal, even though I have no clue when I'll ever read this series. Plus, they're so thick and heavy, it'll take me forever to get through them. But I am excited for them whenever I do get a chance to read them. The next book is Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. I know literally nothing about this other than this is the author of Uprooted, which I've heard very mixed things about. I wanted to read that too, but this was on clearance at the Books A Million that I go to. So I picked it up. It's a really pretty cover. Like I said, I have no clue what it's about. I've actually heard better things about this book than I have Uprooted. I know that they're not actually like part of like the same series or anything. Like this is its own standalone novel, I believe, even though the covers are very similar. But like I said with Joe Abercrombie, I've never read anything by Naomi Novik, so I am excited to give her a shot. The next book that I picked up is The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter, and I've already read this book. I actually really ended up enjoying it. And I'm actually going to mention the other book, the second book with it, just because I am getting that for my birthday. It's currently wrapped, but I can't show it to you, but I'll put a picture up on the screen at some point. Yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I'm excited to get to the second one. If you haven't read it, I really suggest you pick it up. I'm not going to get too into it because it is kind of hard to explain. It's a revenge story, and our main character tries to become like the best swordsman alive so he can challenge this person or these group of people, I guess, to try to kill them to get his revenge. Super great. The main character is a little annoying, so just be aware he makes really poor decisions sometimes, so it does get frustrating. But overall, I love this book. It's super action-packed. I really suggest people read this. Like I said, I did get the second book in this series, but I don't have it right now. I'm getting it for my birthday, and it's currently wrapped. But here's the picture of it. I don't even remember what it's called, but I am super excited to read it whenever I get a chance. The next book that I picked up is The Invisible Life by Addie Larue. I have also read this book. I actually got it from the library, but then I went to Target one day after work because no impulse control, like I've kind of already mentioned. And I seen this beautiful blue cover. And I had never seen this edition before. So like I was taken aback. The book itself is super beautiful and everything too. So yeah, I couldn't restrain myself. This is one of the few books on here that I've actually paid full price for, or full price, whatever Target's price was. I think it was like $20-something. And I enjoyed it. I think this is some of V.E. Schwab's best writing. And by some of, I mean it's the best writing that I've read from her. So yeah, if you haven't read this, I suggest you pick it up too. I really enjoyed it. The next book that I got is Cersei by Madeline Miller. Now, I read Song of Achilles and didn't actually love it, but I went to Goodwill one day and seeing that they had the hardcover edition of this. It's in pretty good condition. Like I said, I can't resist when I see a hardcover for super cheap, like $4. So picked it up. No clue what it's about. I'm pretty sure there's probably a sapphic romance in here. I'm excited to read it just to see what I think of it. Like I said, I wasn't a huge fan of Song of Achilles, so I hope I like this a little bit better. The next book that I got is Stormfront by Jim Butcher. This is the first novel in like the Dresden Files, like that huge series by him. I've heard very mixed reviews about this. So when they had this at Books A Million one day, it was on sale for like $3 or something like that. I just picked it up just so I can have it and read it whenever I want to. This I probably won't get to anytime soon, I'm not gonna lie. I know there are so many books in this series, so like that's kind of intimidating. But whenever I do get to it, I am kind of excited just to see like how I feel about the series. Like I said, I know it's pretty mixed. I've seen a lot of different reviews and stuff about it. I've heard really good things and I've heard quite bad things, but like I said, probably not going to get to this anytime soon, but I'm glad I have a copy of it for whenever I do want to read it. The next novel that I picked up is The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. This is another one that I don't know a whole lot about it. I know it follows two sisters, I believe. They might be twins. One of them is white passing and lives white passing, and one of them is not. And we kind of just follow both of them as we see the different struggles that they face in their lives and that sort of stuff. I am so excited to read this. Hopefully I can read it in like January or something. But I'm not sure when I'll get to it. I've heard nothing but excellent things about this, and I'm so looking forward to reading it. The next book that I picked up is Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ning. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name, to be honest. Got this at Books A Million. It was on clearance. I've heard nothing but great things. I just recently read her other novel, Everything I Never Told You, and I really enjoyed it, honestly. It's literary fiction. That one was following a young girl and like her struggles and how she passed away and like the family drama that followed with her passing. I'm sure this is going to be something similar. It might not follow a death, but it's going to be literary fiction at its finest, and I'm super excited about it. I loved her writing in the other book, so I'm really looking forward to this. The next book that I picked up is Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. I actually read this book in college, and I rented my copy from the library, which I should have just bought a copy during the class that I had to read it for, because I loved this book so much. The writing is phenomenal. The story is phenomenal. So we follow an invisible man, and he's not invisible. Well, he's not technically invisible. He's rendered invisible by the white gaze, and that's what makes him invisible. So we follow his journey as a young adult into adulthood, basically as he's confronted with racism in America and how his confrontations with racism render him invisible. It's such a good book. I hope I have a chance to reread it this year so I can actually go through and like leave my tabs in, because I remember I had a crap ton of tabs in the library copy that I had. I found it at Goodwill for like 99 cents or something. It's pretty beat up, but like I don't really care. So I just want to reread this because it was so good. If you haven't read it, you need to. It should be required reading, honestly. It was that good. The next book that I picked up is going to be a little bit, you know, taboo, because there's a lot of like issues surrounding this novel, as there should be. But I read My Dark Vanessa this year by Kate Elizabeth Russell. It was my favorite book of the year. So because of that book, I really wanted to pick this up and read it. Plus, I've heard great things about the writing, and I understand it's a super taboo story, but I'm willing to give it a try. And that is Lolita by Vladimir Novokov. I know it follows a pedophile as he grooms and dates and sexually assaults, technically, a young girl. Like I said, it's super taboo, but I am so excited to read this. I got this at Half Price Books when I went and visited a friend up in Cleveland. I'm so excited to read this. I understand the issues surrounding it, but just because I've heard such good things about the writing, and because I loved My Dark Vanessa so much, I think I could get so much out of this novel. Like I said, it's taboo. It's a weird subject matter, but I'm so excited to read this, as bad as that is. The next book that I picked up is The Female Persuasion by Meg Wolitzer. I know nothing about this book. I just bought it because it was on clearance. I've heard great things from some of the booktube people that I follow that have read it. I think it is literary fiction, follows a young girl as she kind of becomes obsessed with, maybe not obsessed, but she has this feminist teacher or professor, and their lives kind of intertwine because of her studies with feminism and that sort of stuff. So that's really all I know about it, and like I said, I could be wrong, but yeah, I'm excited to read this whenever I get a chance. The next book that I picked up is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I have had this book on my TBR on Goodreads forever. I couldn't tell you what it's about. I think like magical realism or something like that, but I found a copy of it at a Goodwill the other day, so I decided to pick it up. This is kind of like the Jim Butcher novel. This is not like high up on my list at all. Whenever I get to it is whenever I get to it. I'm glad I have a copy. Like I said though, it's been on my TBR on Goodreads for years now. I've heard really great things about it, but who knows when I'll get to it. The next book I've talked about like 12 times on this channel, and I still have yet to read it, even though I said I was gonna read it like 3 months ago. That is The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. I just need to bite the bullet and sit down and read this book. The Wheel of Time, like the TV show's already been out now. I have no excuse. I got this copy on my anniversary. My significant other bought it for me at full price, and I hate them because they spent so much money on it, but that's besides the point. I have a copy of it now. I'm excited to read it, but I'm also not excited to start a 14-book series because that's super intimidating. And all the books are huge, so it will take me a long time. I think I read the preface not too long ago, and it was okay. I wasn't obsessed with the writing, I wouldn't say, but I just need to bite the bullet and finish it. I need to take some time, but I also want to finish my Goodreads challenge, so that's why I haven't picked up something crazy long. After I finish the book that I'm reading today and finish another one, maybe I'll pick it up and read it through the end of the year into the beginning of the new year. We'll see, who knows. I said I was going to read this for like 2 months now, and it still hasn't gotten there, but I'm excited. I think I picked this one up at Goodwill. It's A Man Called Ove by Frederick Bachman. I've heard great things about this story and this author in general, but I've never actually read anything by him. I think I have one other book on my shelf, Beartown maybe. I have no clue what this is about. I think it just follows an old man as he like retells his life tale or something. I don't know. I've heard great things about his writing. It's literary fiction. So I'm excited to get to it, but I don't know when I'll get to it. But it was like $1, so I bought it. I have a problem if you couldn't tell. The next book, I don't know why I bought. And by that, I mean I know why I bought it because it was cheap, but I probably shouldn't have bought it because I'll probably never read it. And that is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. If you don't know, which how could you not, this is like following President Snow as he tells his life tale. I've heard nothing but bad things about this. I've heard that it doesn't need to exist. It's so long compared to like the actual Hunger Games novels. At least I think it is. I don't know when I'll ever get to this or if I will ever get to it, but it was $2.99, so I just bought it. I don't know. The next book that I bought was The Wolf by Leo Carway or something like that. This is like an epic fantasy following like a group of people, but then there's like a rival group of people. I don't know a whole lot about this, but I was out with my friend from Chicago. She was in town and we went to Books A Million. It was on sale. I wanted to buy something. It sounded interesting enough. I think I read some reviews on Goodreads and people seem to enjoy it, but I don't know a whole lot about it. I don't know when I'll get to it either, but I have it whenever I want to start it. But yeah. The next book that I picked up is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I read the first 2 books in her other series, Smoke and Bones and Days of Blood and Starlight, I believe. I didn't love the first book, but I did really enjoy the second book. And I started the third book and then just got like 200 pages into it and was super bored and just put it down. Needless to say, I'll probably never like finish that series because I don't want to reread the first book. And I enjoyed the second one, but I don't know if I loved it enough to actually like pick it up and reread it just to finish the third one. But I have heard excellent things about this, and I did like Laini Taylor's writing enough to like give her another try. This follows Laszlo Strange as he tries to find like this lost city of Weep or this lost library of Weep, something like that. It sounds super fantastical. It sounds super folk-tale-y. I'm excited to read it. Like I said, I'm dying to give her another try because her writing was really good. But yeah, I also got the second book, but I'll throw it up on the screen because I don't remember what it's called. But it's also a birthday gift, so it's currently wrapped. So I'll just throw a picture up on the screen. I did get it. Don't know when I'll read either one of these. Hopefully soon, probably in the new year. I'll try to pick them up. But yeah, I got both of them. The next book that I picked up is Hail Mary, Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. This is the author of The Martian, which I've never read, and I think he also has another book called Artemis, which I also have never read. I was at a used bookstore in the town over, and it was on sale for like $6. It's kind of beat up. I think there's like water damage, and like the main book sleeve is kind of beat up, but for $6, I mean, it's a brand new book, so I was really surprised to see it for that cheap. This is another one. I don't know when I'll ever get to it, but I will try to read some more sci-fi this year. Emily Fox on BookTube loves sci-fi, and I feel like I haven't really read a whole lot of it, so I am willing to like give the genre a try. I have some Adrian Tchaikovsky down there. That's sci-fi, so maybe I'll pick up one of the two in the new year, but I don't know. I have it for whenever I do want to end up picking it up, so yeah, coffee break. The next book that I picked up is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I tried to read this book in high school, just as like fun reading. It was super bored, but I would like to actually read the story. I've read a lot of Fitzgerald's short stories in college and that sort of stuff, and I did like some of them, but I didn't own a copy of this, so I figured I should buy it. Plus, it was on sale at Goodwill, so I just picked it up. That's the only reason why. I couldn't tell you when I'll actually read this either, but I have it now. Another Goodwill find was Barack Obama's memoir, A Promised Land. I also have Michelle's memoir, Michelle Obama's memoir. So now I have Barack's. It was on sale for $3.99. It's a super expensive book. It's a super long book. This is another one. I've heard great things, but I have no clue when I'll actually pick it up. I'm not a huge memoir person. I've read a couple of them. They're interesting enough, but like it's not something I'm dying to pick up. I might try to get the audiobook of this, and I know Michelle does her own audiobook, so I'll try to get that one as well. And maybe I'll read both of them this upcoming year. Who knows? The next book that I picked up is Theft of Swords by Michael Sullivan. So this is like the first and second book in this series. I'm not sure how many books are in this series, but my significant other wanted a book off of Thrift Books, but to get free shipping you had to spend like $10, and their book wasn't that expensive. So I just threw this in the cart and got it. I've heard good things and bad things about this. I've heard that it's quite sexist at times, but I'm still interested in reading it because it is a super popular fantasy novel. I will probably read this in the new year. Probably both books, honestly, just to get done with it. Yeah, hopefully I can get to this pretty soon. I need to stop going to Goodwill because I picked up this. This is The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. I have never heard of this book, but it looked like an old classic book, and it says one of the greatest mystery thrillers ever written. And right there, I was like, I'm intrigued. It also goes on to say that it sold more copies than like Charles Dickens novels when it was first published, which, if you don't know anything about British literature, he is like the most successful and most published, like one of the most published authors in the English language. Like, so it's insane to me that that's also on here. So like I just picked it up. It was $1.99. I can tell you when I'm going to get to this. It's so long too. For a mystery thriller, it's so long. But it's one of the greatest mystery thrillers ever written, allegedly. So I am excited to read it. The next book that I picked up at Goodwill was Catch-22. I have no clue what this is about. I think it's like a World War II or World War I novel. Like it's set during World War II. I know nothing about this except for Catch-22 is now like a term that you use. You know what I mean? I don't know when I'll ever get to this, but it was at Goodwill for like $1.99, so I picked it up. Plus, I do actually kind of like the cover. It's got a very pretty cover. I don't like the texture of the cover. It's kind of weird, but whatever. Alrighty, guys. Those are all the books that I got. Honestly, there's probably a couple that I've left and forgotten that I got. I tend to just throw them directly onto my bookshelves whenever I get them. So then when it comes time to do videos like this, I'm like, oh crap, when did I buy that? Did I get it in the summer? Did I get it last week? Like, I just forget. But like I said, there's so many books here. Thank you guys so much for sitting here and watching me ramble on about books that I really don't know a whole lot about. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate you. Have a good week. Thank you. Bye. Peace out. Bye.